tons that the paint weighs on the ship.
Well, that's the,
Live in 5, 4, 3.
good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind the massive audience to silence their cell phones. Emergency exits to the rear and my right. Ask everyone to introduce themselves, starting to my right with Mr. Hildreth.
Jay Hildreth.
Bob Spurl.
Eileen Chabot.
Elizabeth Carver, Land Manager.
And Vice Chairman Rick Betts. I'd like to entertain approval of the minutes from September 15th meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at them, I hope. Eileen?
Can I comment?
Sure.
I think they were very well written. There's just a few things that I think should be changed. When you talked about the fire plan, it says the state wildlife coordinator for John Neely. It should be wildfire coordinator.
Okay.
And then the CWPP should be the community wildfire protection plan. And then I just wanted to, let's see, there was something else I saw in here. There was something in here about under the site plan review for Ashley Drive and Scobie Pond Road,
Yep.
that the conservation deed document, it was an easement document. It says it's been reviewed by members of the commission. That was only, I believe, one member of the commission. That was the former chairman that reviewed it. The members of our commission here did not get a chance to review that conservation easement document.
Okay. Any other corrections?
Then the other correction I just like is just an addition. I did speak about, I did announce that we had several, NHACC had several training offerings, and I also spoke about the annual meeting coming up on November 3rd. And invited people's participation to sign up for those meetings and trainings. So I'd like that added to the minutes if I could.
Okay.
Okay, and that's
And
it.
just a quick correction to your correction. The NHACC meeting is November 1st.
November 1st, okay, thank you. I knew it was the first Saturday in November. Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? So I'd like to accept the motion to approve with the corrections mentioned by Eileen.
I'll second that motion with the corrections.
Any discussion? Call a roll, Eileen, on the motion.
Okay, I would move that motion.
It's already been moved and seconded.
Seconded?
Yea or nay?
Okay, aye.
Aye. Bob?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. So minutes approved as amended. And Eileen, can you get those specifics to Tammy?
I can.
So we can
Yep.
correct them,
Yep,
put them in
I
there?
can do that,
All right.
yep.
I'd like to also welcome Mr. Charlie Foote, our council liaison. I don't think you were here when we started, were you?
No, good
You
evening.
snuck in that side door, didn't you?
Snuck
That's
in,
okay.
2 minutes late.
At least you're here.
Thank you.
Now, do we have representative from Dubay? Come on up, sir. Subdivision 84 Island Pond Road, book 6627, page 0819.
Would it be all right if I pass out some 11 by 17s?
Sure. Okay, thank you, sir. Yep, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When you're all settled, just remind us, introduce yourself, and have at it.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Doug McGuire. I'm with the Dubé Group, and I am here representing the applicant Belize Real Estate Holdings LLC. And I'm here tonight to review a proposed subdivision with you. I also have the plan up on, so this should come up on your screen as well, right? If I'm
Yes, sir.
pointing or anything like that? Okay, great. So the property is located at the corner of Island Pond Road and Lane Road. It's an existing 16-acre parcel right here. Obviously a fair amount of existing frontage. And currently on the property, there's an existing single-family home right here, right at the corner of Lane and Island Pond. And all we're looking to really do is just create a frontage lot subdivision, total of 6 total lots, 5 new lots, 4 of which would have frontage on Island Pond Road, like this. So here, 4 new lots here, corner lot being created to house the existing single-family home, and 1 additional on Lane Road. So the property does have some wetlands on it in the back here, as you can see. The property grades towards those wetlands from kind of all sides. Both roads slope inward into the site. As you can see, the grading here slopes from essentially south to north. The north is straight up on the page here. So everything from Island Pond Road kind of just slopes on. There's 1 existing cross culvert in there that comes onto the property, and then this area drains into the wetland area as well. So the good news is that we're not proposing any wetland impacts. We have some good ample upland area for lot development, and honestly, the lots will very likely stay closer towards the road just due to the grades. We did do some prototypical lot grading, which is shown on the following sheet 6, just to kind of give the planning board and members of the commission kind of an idea of representative idea of what we'd be looking at. And as you can see, you can put the lots right here, have walkout basements in the back, work with the grade, and still have a good chunk of land before you even come near the building setback or your 75-foot building setback back there. So that's about it. No proposed roadways. We are doing, at the request of working with Public Works, Mark LaRue, we're doing some drainage improvements down at the bottom here. What really the goal was to, because we're adding new lots along this frontage, there was an existing wall area here, and the road is fairly narrow, and so he had asked us to kind of open that up, and obviously in opening that up, we're bringing potentially some of the Island Pond roadway drainage into the property, which it does eventually get in, but I think it was more channelized and coming in more in this location, but now we're going to be creating more of a sheet flow scenario. So what we did is we proposed an infiltration pond here at the toe of the slope to just provide some additional treatment, mainly of that Island Pond roadway water. It'll also collect some of the backyards of these areas and just offset any differentials that might be associated with that and provide some treatment for the benefit of the subdivision. But short of that, there's really no other large infrastructure improvements proposed. And I guess with that, I'll turn it back to the commission. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, could you define treatment?
So treatment would, the way we always go with alteration of terrain treatment provisions. In this case, we're proposing an infiltration pond. So treatment would be provided through that form, which would be infiltration. And then in this case, the water would sheet flow or channelize in between the lots and work its way into that proposed pond. And that will provide a point of settling and treatment prior to it entering into the wetland system.
Any other commissioners, questions?
Have you done any perk testing out there for septic?
We did, yes. We did test pits on every single lot to be able to prove out our 4K areas and our depth of seasonal water table and all those items. And soils were good. You know, I wouldn't say they're not spectacular beach sand, but they're typical New Hampshire soils. We had good separation. No, I don't believe we encountered ledge in any of the pits, and fairly respectable 36-inch or so water tables, seasonal high water tables through there.
Is there a plan in this set that shows where the septic testing was conducted?
There is, yeah. We show those on typically the topo subdivision plan, because that's the plan that we use to get NHDS NHDS subdivision. So that's sheet 5, which is this one here. So you can see that we have our 4K areas, we have our test pits that we performed within those 4K areas. We also have our well radii in there, and we did that on all the individual lots.
So it looks like on a few lots, you're having to put the houses further back towards the wetlands.
Well, the box that you see that's highlighted isn't necessarily representative of where the house would go. That's where the leach field could go. So in reality, and also just to be clear, that's a 4,000 square foot area where, you know, your typical leach field is a tenth of that. And so really the intent of it is to show just a vast area that you could place the septic.
Okay.
So that being said, the house locations are maybes?
Well,
Close to?
yeah,
Close
so
to
I mean,
reality?
I would guess that the homes would be very similar to what we show on sheet 6. The only issue is that with any typical standard subdivision, you're really creating the lots, you're not creating the houses themselves. So it's possible that one of these lots could be sold to another party, that they say, hey, you know, we don't want to do a side load garage, we want to do a front load garage or whatever, and it might change the configuration slightly, but based on what we're grading and based on driveway grades, they're going to be very similar to this area.
Anybody else?
Regarding the infiltration pond, I understand, you know, what you're saying about putting the, you know, channelizing the runoff and having it end up in that pond. I guess I have a concern about the grading towards the wetland, however. It looks like the grades slope down towards the wetland at the back of the infiltration pond. Is there some other way of doing that? Like perhaps when you're channelizing the runoff, you perhaps do some piping to the infiltration pond, but let it be more of a settling pond rather than having the grades go down into the wetland?
Well, I guess what I would say, and just so we're all talking about the same thing here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, might help contextually what we're talking about here. So this is where the infiltration pond is. As you can see, the contours going down to the pond are more steep, but this area is very flat. And so the contours that you see on the back end that we're proposing are just to create a small berm embankment. So this isn't all going in one direction. So this is the bottom of the pond. You're coming up to a small berm, and then you're coming back down. And so really what we're creating is an embankment intentionally just to kind of hold that water back. All that water we expect to fully infiltrate into the system, except for maybe some very large infrequent storms like the Mother's Day floods or something like that. And in that case, we have this rock-lined overflow spillway where the water
You're
could.
going to have a spillway, okay.
Yeah, so-
Now, can you describe for us what the base elevation would be for the infiltration pond?
So the base, you're talking about like the bottom of the
bottom,
floor?
yes,
Yeah,
please.
so the
Bottom
base would be at elevation 450, which is very similar to existing grade, where our wetland system really kind of starts at the 446-ish range. So as you can see, that's kind of giving you a good 4 feet of viable upland to kind of promote some recharge in that area as it dissipates into the wetland system.
What would be at the base of the infiltration pond? Would you be lining it with gravel or any other substrate that might
Because
help?
of its proximity to the wetland system, we were gonna look to let it naturalize. We don't expect that this is gonna get a lot of significant runoff at any given amount of time. It's really more just to provide that settling and promote that recharge, mainly, to be honest with you, for the road system. And you can see right here, this is that one culvert I was telling you about that came across the road. That takes on a catch basin on this side of the road. Well, actually, I guess it's not a catch basin, it's just an open-end section. But there is some collection on that side of the road. And so allowing that to come down, go along the property line, and then work its way right into this system, it's a good benefit, because obviously that water would be the area that's most likely to have some of the roadway contaminants in it, you know?
Right, I guess that's my concern, is you're channelizing the runoff, it's going to end up in a shallow, it sounds like a shallow pond, and you're not going to, you said you're going to naturalize the base of the pond. I guess I'm concerned about the runoff from the driveways getting in there and then getting into the wetland without further treatment, really. I understand about the settling in the pond, but it's going to be a shallow pond, and there's going to be grease and oils that will come down the driveways from the cars. And I'm just thinking that you probably should have a treatment substrate at the bottom of the pond.
Well, I mean, the infiltration pond itself is intended to provide treatment. If anything, the traveling through the grass on its way there is going to help assist further treatment.
It will help some, but
And I think we have to remember that we have an existing condition here where the roadway just drains off the road and ends up in the wetland directly without any treatment.
no, we don't want that, but
So that's
you
our,
could have a better design for the infiltration pond, that's all.
yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a better spot to put it. I think you're going to want it at the toe of the slope. You don't want to put it on the side of a slope. I think,
No, maybe not the location necessarily, but how you're designing it.
I don't see, what's
Design
the issue with it?
for maximum treatment, rather than just, as you said, naturalizing the bottom of it.
Well, I guess when I think of treatment, I can't think of a better treatment practice than an infiltration pond, because essentially you're ensuring that all the water is naturally filtering into the ground, which is the best form, one of the best forms of treatment.
I'm not opposed to infiltration. You're misunderstanding me. I just think that the way you're designing it, I think it could be improved upon. That's all I'm saying. I'm all for an infiltration. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't really know how I would improve it. There's no water coming out of it in the 2-year storm, so I mean, I don't know what more I would do.
There's a number of best management practices in DOT's workbook for best management practices for
Yeah.
design of drainage, and I think you should take a look at those.
The drainage easement in the pond, obviously at some point may need some maintenance. How are they gonna get down there? Go down the easement?
Yeah,
between the
we
two
did
lots?
provide an easement for the benefit of the town, since it is taking on town water effectively. Again, the intent of this is to allow for it to basically be an enhancement of the existing wetland system, and really should not require much in any way of maintenance, possibly brush hogging it if we even decided that was necessary. But we all know the realities of how something like this would be maintained. I don't see Derry Public Works going out there on a semi-annual basis and primping the system. And so I think for that reason, that's why it's in a good location, being at the flat portion of the slope. You're just promoting some infiltration before it naturally enters the wetland system, which it already did anyway. And providing the grass along the property line and maintaining that swaling connection is going to help, filter that area out too. So our hope is that the maintenance item would be left very minimal, and what you would get is the benefit of the natural wetland system that's there today, and have it kind of naturalize in the same manner, is what we were hoping to have create here.
Anybody else?
I have kind of just a curiosity question. Because since this is like on someone's property, right? Or, okay. So does that mean, is there any like kind of, anything that prevents a homeowner from just ripping it out and and leveling it, right? I mean, besides that there's a wetland there, obviously.
Absolutely. So a couple things, because this comes up a lot, and it's a good question. So there's a few items here. First, we're creating an actual easement for that, which will be to the benefit of the town. So that will be referenced in their deed. It'll also be on file with the town, and it will be something that's executed as part of the conditional approval of this, so that the town has that right. So if there were ever a point where that water was being impeded, and that's also why we ran that easement up the property line, because if somebody said, hey, I wanted to put a fence there and I just filled in that swale and now the water doesn't go where it should go, the town would have the right to kind of force them to adjust that. And if they couldn't do it, the town could physically go in and maintain that connection. So yeah, it would be in their deed. They would be aware of it. It would be on the recorded plan that's recorded. So from a legal perspective, if you were to pull something up, it would be in that deed, it would be on the plan that they receive. So, obviously the goal would be to tell the homeowners this, but if they sold it and somebody wasn't aware, they would be made aware based on that information.
Thank you.
Sure.
So,
Go ahead,
work
Bob.
for the state, and we've dealt with some of this kind of stuff. Is the easement points gonna be in any way monumented?
We can do that. Sometimes that's requested. We weren't as concerned in this case because of the existing topography and we felt that it was much less likely, as you can see from kind of the prototypical lot grading, that isn't going to be someone's developed yard area based on how much lower it sits from even their walkout basement of their yard. So it's not really an area that would be actively utilized by the property, but obviously we could monument it with iron pins if that was a concern, but we just didn't think, and sometimes we do that. It's just in this case, being that it was 20 feet lower in grade than even the walkout basement of a house, it wasn't going to see a lot of activity, and it was really going to be more of a naturalized portion within the wetland area.
But property owners make their own decisions, though.
Right.
That's,
Understood, yeah,
you're hoping that they don't do it.
Well,
They might.
we're hoping that they don't go and fill in the whole wetland in their backyard too,
You're
but.
saying that it's not going to be maintained, so I think that coupled with the fact that you're not going to monument it is going to make, the eventual situation problematic, down the line.
Well, I mean,
Now.
I'm questioning later enforcement, where if you have somebody go out and look at that easement, they have no idea where it is, or if it's being impacted or not.
I don't have a problem adding some monumentation. We've done it before, and we can do it on this.
Even if you put monuments down on the edge of the wetlands so that they could pull the tape back up the distance, rather than being right in an area, you're right, they're gonna likely be trying to keep that lawn mowed or whatever, almost down to the edge of the wetland, but, it's like,
Could be problematic. Because,
I just see an enforcement problem later.
homeowners have a propensity too for wanting to mow their lawn and get rid of the lawn clippings wherever it seems,
Wherever it's
easy
out
to
of the
go,
way.
right?
Yeah.
So if you've got this sloping, infiltration pond that looks like a lawn, that might be a way of, that might be the place where they decide their wheelbarrow's going to head. And before you know it, that gets filled in over time. And then it loses its value as an infiltration area. Just a concern.
I could see lots 1 and 2 doing that, and I could see lots 3 and 4 putting them in the wetlands, but that's just me. Now, I was at the TRC with you when you presented this, and I know that runoff, and we talk about berms and swales and all of that stuff. Is that part of the plan to direct water to this, or are you going to rely on natural?
Well,
flow?
so what we talked about, you're right. I mean, when we were at TRC, Mark was saying he was concerned that he couldn't really plow great through there because of the narrowness of the road, the added driveways. He wanted to make sure the water was coming off. He did talk about possibly doing a roadside swale. What I explained to him, and we had some subsequent conversation, is that it really would make no sense to make a swale in that location, because essentially what you'd be doing is artificially berming up the embankment to come back down, and you're actually channelizing and concentrating the flow. And so we kind of came up with the idea of allowing it to sheet into the yards, but be graded properly so that it worked its way, if it was going to concentrate, to the property lines, and then work its way down and through. So his main focus was just to make sure that water wasn't going to be impeded on the roadway system, and also that we were maintaining that existing culvert flow pattern and not, just punching it right into the front yard of somebody's yard, because that would be an issue too. So that's kind of what we did. So we didn't create a physical roadside swale, but we made sure that there were flow patterns and that those could be maintained.
And the other part is on the backsides, are you going to be putting swales in to direct that to the infiltration pond? Are you just going to let nature take its course? I know those first 2 lots, that's where the majority of that's going to come from. I get that.
Yeah, I think, so what we did is we looked at, DES this is always a tough one. When you have individual single-family house lots, you're not really held to the same standard as if this were a roadway
Commercial.
system or something like that. So what we looked at it as more of as a system as a whole, and we said, okay, well, what's most likely adding contamination to this wetland system? And it's the road. It's the main road system. It's not to say that there couldn't be some contaminations added by the single-family homes as well, but our focus was to catch that and also provide a differential adjustment, and that's what this pond does as well, is your pre-versus post numbers, we have a reduction overall in looking at, so despite adding impervious area with driveways and houses, we still have a reduction in overall impervious because of what's collected to this pond system. So does the pond system collect 100% of every home? No, it doesn't. But it's offsetting differentials to make sure that we're not adding to the existing wetland system any more than what was there before.
Well, I've lived here quite a while so far, and I'm familiar with that property. Bless you, I used to live on Lawrence Road, and it seems to me the high point is the front corner of lot number 1, and it kind of slopes down back into that, almost like a bowl. That's why you have that pond, the wetlands there. So I'm okay with everything so far. I kind of agree with Eileen about the bottom of the infiltration pond, but I understand where you're coming from too, because it's a natural filtration and it's going from way up on where the houses are, and it's got, I don't know how many feet, pretty decent distance to get to the pond and then to the wetlands, so.
Well, and I think to me, I mean, if we're really concerned about maintenance and, sometimes we do gravel the bottoms, but to me, aesthetically, being that this is in someone's backyard, and also just the benefit of, I mean, you have this existing wetland system, which is a fairly nice wetland, honestly, and allowing that vegetation to naturally kind of work its way into the pond system, obviously you're going to get decomposition within the soil and uptake from all of that root system that can kind of start growing in there. To me, you're essentially, I mean, as you mentioned, there are other practices. You can do created wetland systems. You can do something in between where they have filtration and they have wet pond sections.
Line it with organic soils. That would be a help.
You can do a lot of things. And I guess what I'm saying is that letting this naturalize and having natural occurring in that vicinity, let that growth kind of work its way in over time, isn't going to hurt the infiltration. If anything, the absorption could get improved.
When you excavate it, okay, what kind of soils are you going to put in place there? And would there be any seeding that would also help it to naturalize the right way in terms of, like you said, you want vegetation that's going to, whose roots are going to uptake these pollutants. Can you amplify on what you would do there in terms of when you excavate it, what you're gonna put for soils and seeding?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly can spec we have in-house landscape architecture at our office, and I can certainly ask him what type of, like a wetland seed mix that he would recommend, for that would allow that to kind of naturalize. We're not looking to grow turf grass there.
No, we're not. And that's one of my points.
Yeah, so we
want to make sure that we're maximizing the pollutant removal of this.
Yeah, so we can certainly do a mix that would promote that type of growth and allow it to naturalize. The good news is that we're not doing a large cut. We're basically at grade. So we probably remove some of the existing soil top dress just enough to allow for our new vegetation to take hold. But we're not in a massive cut in that area. We're basically kind of creating more of a berm on the back edge than we are cutting it in.
So it's still going to be important at the bottom to have the proper base to be able to.
No, I agree.
To have the pollutant removal capability maximized.
Some of these, this information is on page 11, I'm noticing.
Is it?
Yeah. Loam and
It's
seed
hard.
details.
I mean, we just got these plans. It's hard to see every sheet and memorize everything.
Typical grass line swale. There's a diagram with that, and the pond.
I was also wondering if we would, Mr. Chair, if we would be allowed a site visit before we take a vote on this?
Sure. You know that now that has to be a posted meeting, yes?
Yeah.
If there's 4 of it, okay. Okay. You're okay with that?
I mean, I guess we're looking to move forward and get towards the planning board. I mean, it is only a frontage lot subdivision with no infrastructure. I'm not sure if a site walk is necessary for a project such as this.
We usually do a site walk with these plans.
Yeah, I mean, without any wetland impacts, I wasn't even sure if this commission wanted to even see the plan.
You say there's no wetlands impacts, but you're also telling us that the runoff is going to end up in the wetlands, and as Mr. Metz, clarified that there's several lots that are directly going to go into the wetlands that aren't going to go in the infiltration pond.
Not
I
guaranteed to
think
go in
it's
the
also
infiltration
important
pond.
for us to know what the wetland looks like, to see if it has the pollutant removal capability that we're looking for. And the only way we can know that is to have a site walk.
Any other comments and questions? What's everybody's schedule look like? We could do it. Bobby, what time do you get home from work?
Usually out of the office by 4, but I can come earlier.
Okay. I hate to do this. I'd like to defer and talk to the chair as well.
Okay.
And we can do it. We can do a site walk. I have no problem with that. When do you go before the planning board?
I don't believe we're scheduled yet because we're still finalizing with TRC.
Okay.
So
Is that another visit? Do you have another visit with them, or?
don't.
Okay.
We were told that we didn't need to return, but we did provide updated plans. Obviously, what you have before you, which has a lot more detail than where we initially started.
Right.
And so that's being reviewed. My understanding, that's being reviewed now.
So you're not scheduled yet in their next meeting? What was your deadline, if you can help me?
For planning
To
board?
get on the next planning board?
I haven't even, I'll be honest, I haven't even checked.
okay.
But,
All
just because I typically wait to hear back from the staffing, to make sure that they're all set. I mean, obviously, Mark had some comments he has to review.
Oh, yeah.
We have time for a site walk then? Don't we? It sounds like we have time for a site walk. We're not impeding his schedule if he doesn't have a schedule for the planning board yet.
Okay. I'd like to confer with the chair and get a site walk done, and it would be, I would hope, before the end of next week. I would hope, anyway. Because
No,
again,
I
it has to be a posted, in order to do it the right way, we have to have a posted meeting 2 days before, so on and so on. So minutes have to be taken, because we run into issues.
Maybe we could do it like Friday afternoon or early Saturday morning?
Saturday's not good for me.
No? Okay.
Friday morning, where am I Friday? Actually, Saturday morning would be okay, because I'm not out till 2. Friday, I can't remember what I'm
Try
doing Friday.
Saturday
but-
morning, maybe around 8:30 or 9?
I'm not around this weekend, so I couldn't do it this weekend, but, if we want to try to schedule something, or, you're obviously welcome to, I don't know if you want to informally visit, that's fine too.
We can.
Yeah.
We can, and then send our findings in an email. I'm not sure how technically legal that is either, but I just don't want to run awry of anybody. So I'll get in touch with Rick
Okay.
and see what and we'll come up with something, and we'll let you know. We have your contact information, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yep.
So I'm sorry to delay it, but
No worries. It's more of, I didn't want, unless there was a concern and a need for it, I didn't want to have you guys waste your time.
Now, this commission has a policy. We usually do site visits for applications that,
For
plans that
frontage
come
lot
before
subdivisions?
us. Not applications, but plans that come before us. We normally do a site visit before we vote.
usually it's 2 or more lots, and this fits that. So at least that's what I've been told.
Whatever the pleasure of the commission.
Okay.
I've been on the commission a long time, and that's always been our policy and practice.
I defer to the experience.
Yeah, I understand. Every town's different. Some commissions, if there's not a contemplated wetland impact, or if it's just frontage lots and no new infrastructure, they sometimes don't look at it. But if you guys look at all your applications, that's fine.
Okay. Any other questions or comments before we let the gentleman go? All right, so we'll try and get that site walk scheduled as quick as possible. When we come up with a time, we'll get in touch with you and see if you're available. If not, if we can't mesh our schedules, we'll go on the site walk and let you know.
Yeah, and
what's going
I'm
on.
sure I can make myself available. I just happen to not be around with some
that's fine.
sports-related stuff this weekend, but
I got a food truck I'm running, so that's why I'm days here and there, so. Nobody else? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. On the committee reports. Jay, Community Garden.
Yes, I note tonight is the harvest moon,
Oh, that's right.
and I saw it coming up. It was very beautiful, big, and full. And apparently the history of the naming of that is because the moon was so bright that the people would be able to harvest their crops in the moonlight. So we had a short season, I would say. I'd say at this point only 25 to 30% of the plots still have any kind of growth. I have a pepper plant and a basil plant, that's about it. Some of the, and I mentioned last meeting that the mixed practices in gardening have produced mixed results. But overall, we would like to see on a long-term basis, be able to have a longer season. I know on my deck that I worked so hard the last couple of weeks, it's, the plants are doing fine because we've been able to care for it. And I think part of that solution would be to increase the organic matter in the soil, which is pretty obvious, and also the nitrogen. That can be introduced by several methods, adding straw, and we also have the cemetery leaves that someday will decompose and could provide, some leaf mold. Cow manure, if we could get a bulk, cow manure, that's something that we want to try to provide for the gardeners. Most gardeners that have been successful know that they had to do these things anyhow. And also our own garden bins, which are producing compost, which Beth is working on a project with that she'll probably mention. So and that's a longer term, we're really, brainstorming at this point. So you'll hear more in the future. Another project that I had initiated was New Hampshire Community Garden Survey using a site map that was provided by the Extensions Service. We have, 20 or so community gardens. Each of us, Beth, Valerie, and I, on the Community Garden Subcommittee, have been talking about it and targeting certain places and just trying to get ready to have more of a concentration. We want to learn from these places, the different models of growing. For instance, I saw Hampton's website, and they call it a victory garden. And Northampton has its own, and it's a different model totally. So I think it just would help us to understand the variety of solutions that have been implemented over our state's community gardens, just as a learning and, maybe to also network with them and learn from them, and maybe there's some things we could adopt in the future. So that's what I've been working on lately.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. What's the deadline to have everybody have their gardens cleaned out? They all know that. I'm not familiar with it, but.
So December.
I would have to look, but sometime in December.
Oh, so they've got a while yet.
Yeah, we have the end of season protocol to put into place, so we haven't really gotten into that yet.
Okay. So it hasn't ended, the season's not over yet?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Good.
No.
Because I'm counting on some more corn from JNF, but. Personnel, I have nothing to report from personnel. Public outreach, I'll let Beth cover that in her land manager report. TRCs, obviously we had one guest tonight. Next meeting, I'm anticipating 2 more presentations of 2 more subdivisions. One's a small subdivision. I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was commercial. So hopefully, I gave them their deadline to get their paperwork in or request into Rick and Tammy and make sure that they get on for the next meeting, which is the 20th, correct? So we'll see about that. State compliance, Eileen.
Okay, I don't really have anything new to report. Again, I would encourage members of the commission to sign up for the NHACC annual meeting that's on 1 November. I think you can really learn a lot. There's going to be some great workshops and some field trips. So please take advantage of that.
Okay. Bob, property maintenance?
We have a workday scheduled for the 18th, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yep. Over at Corneliuson, we'll try addressing the, I guess I call it the upper trail, start opening that up. So 12 to
Yeah, that's the 18th.
exhaustion.
Yeah, that's the 18th at noon, and the dairy members of the Dairy Track Club will be coming, but it's also open to the public. So if anybody's watching and wants to come on by Holiday Ave.
And do we have an avenue to post that anywhere yet? Or I'll let you do that when we get to the end of
Technically,
land management.
technically we do. Yes.
All right.
Effectively, no.
Land acquisition, chairman's not here. Reporting compliance, Ms. Connolly's not here. So Beth, you're up next with the land manager report.
Okay, so the first thing that I was asked to mention in my land manager's report last meeting, we got a check from Hannaford for $55, and we need to officially vote to accept that check for them to be able to deposit it into our account. So we just need to have a vote on that.
Okay, I'll take a motion to accept the $55 check from Hannaford's.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So motion by Jay, second by Eileen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We can accept the $55. Okay.
All right, check.
Check.
For fire safety, I did meet with Val and John Neely and Greg Laro again last week, and we have a rough budget of 100 hours of my time and a timeline of 5 to 6 months to complete the CWPP, and that is also going to include whatever resources we need from the fire department. So Greg has said that, they have personnel who can get us any of the information that we need. So that is right along its way. I'm meeting again with Greg to just kind of officially put all of that together so that we can go and discuss that with Mike Fowler, with the town administrator. And I was also asked to post some fire danger signs because there is, in case anybody wasn't aware, there is a open fire ban right now because of the drought. And there is a whole PSA about that if you would like to read in more detail, that is at the town website, derrynh.gov. And if you go to Government and Conservation Commission, then it's right there in the green bar on the side, so you can view some more information about that. But that includes any open fire, any open campfire, as well as smoking. So any kind of smoking at all is not allowed on in or near any woodlands at this time. And I have a quote for you all to consider for brush hogging Broadview from Noah's Tractor Service. So that's Noah Duarte. He tilled the community gardens in the spring. He has done this for us in the past. So that is for $1,000. That is a tractor day rate. So I asked if there was anything more specific about that, but my understanding is that it's basically whatever brush he can get hogged in a day is covered by that $1,000. Yeah, and Eileen and I took a walk out at Broadview, and we flagged the areas that to be brush hogged. I ran out of flagging, so I gotta finish that up before I meet with Noah.
Quite a bit done.
Yeah, yes. So I have that for you to consider, $1,000 for brush hogging Broadview, Noah's Tractor Service.
Okay, any questions for Beth? Right, I will entertain a motion to appropriate $1,000 for brush hogging Broadview Farm. Money to be taken out of, not sure where.
That
Land,
is not my department.
The land account,
land account,
land managing.
land management account?
Yep.
All right, so someone want to make the motion?
I would make a motion to take up to $1,000 out of the land management account for the services of Noah's
Tractor Service.
Tractor Services for brush hogging the Broadview Farm.
Second?
I'll second that.
Bob seconded. Any discussion? Take a roll call. Jay?
Yes.
Bob? Eileen?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. So you're good.
Great.
And when is he going to do that? Before the snow flies, obviously, but
Yeah, so it's safe to do, we're in the safe zone, right? So
Okay.
we're not going to be disturbing any bobolinks, doing this. I can't remember off the top of my head when exactly that is. I think it's either the end of August or
May to August usually.
yeah, okay. So end of August is when we're safe.
So
So
we're in-
we just have to schedule that with him.
okay.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank
And
you.
we'll coordinate with DPW as well, because I know in the past, and if anybody else has any experience of how this has been done in the past, I know I've just seen that DPW has one of those big signs, right, that says that Broadview is closed for the day. So we'll just want to make sure that that's publicized, that Broadview will be closed for the day.
Should be put in the entrance to the driveway, I'd assume, right?
Yeah.
Sign? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. The boundary lines at 7.5 Willow Street have been blazed. I have not been able to set eyes on them yet, but I will do that this week. And we'll want to just come up with a maintenance plan to make sure that we can like keep up on those blazes, however often that needs to be done. Bob already mentioned that we have our next trail project scheduled at Corneliuson. And Bob and I met with Val last week or the week before to just compare notes on some of the research that we've been doing on our properties in town. And Val is spearheading that project. Our goal is to have basically a binder or a folder for each property that has relevant maps, the easement documentation, and any other just like really pertinent info that a monitor or like a land steward might want to use to monitor those properties. So right now she is researching Corneliuson and putting that together, and I'm researching 7.5 Willow Street. And we're just gonna kind of tackle it that way. For public outreach, I met with Doug again about the map modernization project, and that's pretty exciting. So we do have a nice big ArcGIS. I don't know quite the nomenclature yet, still learning, but like we have a lot of data in the ArcGIS, and what I'm working on right now is just making it pretty, essentially. So just like working on the styling of it so that when we look at it, I want to say customers, users, residents can look at it. And Doug and I spoke about basically the vision for this being that you'd have a map, right? And we would like to have QR codes be able to have QR codes at the trailheads so that you can scan and you can view either the map of all of the properties, and then also there's something called stories in ArcGIS where basically someone could scan a QR code and it would take them to like the story, not just simply like a PDF of a map, but like we could include video and other just kind of cool information and stuff. Yeah, exactly. For that property. So that is exciting and on its way. And Cheryl reached out to me. We don't have a meeting on the books yet, but she did reach out to me to schedule a meeting. So we will review just getting some, like a standard operating procedure for updating our web pages, because we do want to go through and update our web pages. And then some goals for social media. We do have a Derry NH Conservation is the name of the page. So we have a Facebook page. So you can all go like it. And you'll be our first followers. So, so we do have a Facebook page, right? Obviously, we don't really have a following to share information to at this time, right? So that'll be part of our goals is to build that following, so that when we do have information to share, like Broadview is going to be closed this day, you know, we can push that out on our social media to help get the word out. We also are working on, Jay and I are working on a private Facebook group for community gardeners, just so that they can kind of have some camaraderie between them. So that is it, I would say, for, public outreach. For learning opportunities, Eileen already mentioned the NHACC annual meeting. If anybody does want, I can sign them up with the card that we have, so that you don't have to like submit to get reimbursed. So if anybody wants to do that, please reach out and I can do that. There's also a foam recycling reimagined Zoom call. That is this Wednesday, October 8th at noon. And if anybody would like the link to that, I can send it to you. For requests from the public, just so you know, we did hear back from Emma Jean about the geocache, and she has placed it, and it has already been visited several times. So that's very exciting. I have on my list, but we'll talk about it another time, but I guess I'll mention it now, that the town administrator has received requests for a disc golf course and a pump track from residents. And perhaps at another meeting when there are more commissioners here, that might be something that we could discuss, or I could bring it up to.
Is there a proposed location for those activities?
There's not. I think that would kind of be, on us. I remember Ricardo mentioning like that maybe there's some land that may have less like ecological value, that is more recreational things may be good on. But I think that as we start to do our like natural resources index or inventory, right, and we have that information, it's just kind of something to keep on the back burner of like the public is requesting this, and if there's ever a property where that seems appropriate, then we might explore that.
Are there parklands that could be used for that? Those both sound like parks and recreation type activities, but really conservation.
They're pretty much active fields. There's no real dead space on those fields that I'm aware of.
Isn't?
You're talking my brother lived in a town in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, and they had a huge outdoor disc golf. And it was 18 holes, and it was huge. It was in a park area that had a pool and all, a recreation type thing. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a good chunk of land, unless you do 9 holes like Hoodcroft. So.
Yeah. Okay.
We're looking at Alexander Carr at one point.
Okay.
To make it kind of through the whole.
Put everything in one.
Through kind of, throughout it, spread it out through there, but it's not.
Does Alexander Carr Park, for instance, would that have some space maybe for something?
Well, that's what Councilor Foote just mentioned, yeah.
Okay.
That's initially what we talked about. Was doing it there.
That seems like it would fit better than like conservation lands.
Kind of some of it in the wood line and some of it out.
Right.
Kind of make it more challenging, whatnot, but.
Run it up the ski hill. No?
Yeah. Make it challenging.
Yeah.
And what was the jump park?
A pump track.
Pump track.
So that's
a pump track.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? I don't even know what that
I
is.
can. Mike forwarded me like a video of it actually. So it's like a track for BMX bikes or like biking that have just like undulating track, right? So it's not just straight, but it's like got a lot of bumps so you can jump and stuff like that. Yeah.
Alexander Carr.
There we go. What a jump. What a jump.
That would be quite the jump. Maybe too much, but.
And then, so for naming properties, that's the last thing on my list here. So I know that the chair had kind of championed that as a project, so I don't know, maybe I'll just wait until he's back online to talk about that. And I will just say, because I didn't mention this earlier with with fire safety and 7.5 Willow Street, I will say everybody that I have interacted with in the town has just been extremely helpful and just willing to step up and do the things that need to be done. And I'm very, very proud, very glad to be part of this town. Just everybody's been so great. And it is worth mentioning because I don't think that that's probably very typical, I would imagine.
It's awesome.
Maybe typical, but it doesn't get mentioned, so I'm glad you mentioned it. So.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Doug finally was able to get all that stuff downloaded for you. I'm sorry I missed the last meeting about the ArcGIS, but I know that was step one, was to have that all downloaded for you. And now obviously we've started to play around with it and start making changes and,
and
like you said, enhancing, because he's got the basics.
Yeah, and it's been a big to-do, I think, in that regard. So it's a big deal that we are where we're at with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the good work.
Thank you.
Councilor Foote, do you have an update on anything?
Town's going strong, lights are on, doing well. We did have a vacancy in the town council. Councilor Dave Garnessi resigned a few weeks ago and he moved out of town, so he's no longer. So tomorrow night we'll be potentially voting on a new member through applications that was submitted in the last few weeks.
Now, I was in that situation on the school board. Will that be till the end of the year?
It'll fill it
this election year? And
His
then
term was due to
voters
expire
get to
this
vote?
year
Oh, it
anyways.
was, okay.
So it will just be filling in for the remainder of the year, until March.
And then another
election,
3-year
and then
term.
whoever, then it's open for everyone
Okay.
to run for it, so, yep.
Well,
Temporary.
be nice to thank Dave for his service to the town over all these years, because it wasn't just on the council, he was on the planning, zoning.
20 years.
Yeah,
20
so,
years planning and whatnot, and he's in the Sunshine State.
thanks and best of luck to Dave. Let's see, anybody else with any updates? Any other thing to share? Eileen, please make sure you get those dates for Tammy so she can put them in on November 1st for
Oh, sure, yeah. Yep,
what you talked about before.
yep, thank you.
We don't have any non-public tonight, so I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.